A big hello and a very warm welcome to Brand Equity with me, Sonali Krishna. Well, today's episode is all about food, and our guest is someone who has reinvigorated the taste buds of the nation and now is getting ready to do the same internationally. I'm talking about none other than the Batter King, PC Musthafa, the CEO and co-founder of ID Fresh Food. And just like his batter, I'm hoping Musthafa keeps this conversation as fresh and as crisp as his batter. Good to have you on the show. Once again, Musthafa, truly a pleasure.
Thank you, Sonali, for this opportunity.
Well, it's been a while since we last spoke. And when I spoke to you last, it was in the midst of the pandemic. And there was this whole e-commerce boom like we've never seen before. And of course, one of the biggest beneficiaries of that were players like you. I want to get a sense from you that now things have normalized. And we're getting reports that there is some shrinkage we're seeing, with e-commerce, and that its peak has been achieved. For a company like ID Foods that primarily started with e-commerce and of course now has gone into brick and mortar, what are you seeing in terms of business trends?
So in the first 2.5 years of pandemic, we had almost a 60 times growth for e-com.
Sure.
And the last, I would say 1 year, that growth has been only double. Right. So we are not able to see that exponential growth coming in like the way we used to do in the early days, but we are still growing. Now, what has really worked for us for ID specifically on e-com platform and Q-com platform is the right value proposition and convenience. So the consumers, especially for, let's say, if you have to make dosa at home, they can take a decision at the last moment and get it delivered in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That was a convenience being offered by the Q-com players. And at ID, since our products are 100% natural, no chemicals, no preservatives, nothing artificial in it, it was also making right sense for, it was making sense for a consumer to try this at home. And since consumers are becoming more health conscious after COVID and convenience being offered, this proportion of product and the delivery was making sense, and thereby the growth.
Right. So I'm assuming that now that we've seen, a more realistic level of e-commerce, what is your plan in terms of expanding your offline distribution network? I know you're pretty much available in a lot of, brick and mortar and modern retail stores, but are you looking at now focusing on a hybrid model? And more importantly, are you looking in investing in your own experiential centers?
The general trade distribution, we are already there in around 30,000 outlets in around 45 cities. Our plan is to double it in the next 1 year in terms of a GT distribution.
Okay.
In terms of our experience centers, we don't have plans as of today to get into the own retail or QSR, but we might look at some kind of an experience center for the consumers to experience the product, maybe maximum 1 per city, and that's the plan. That's more of a marketing campaign, not a sales channel.
Okay. I'm glad you talked about, your revenues. So just for my audience, if you could give me a sense of what you finished, FY23 with, and give me a breakup of your revenues in terms of which categories were your bright stars, which markets were your bright stars. I know, of course, parotha and batter are still your superstars, if I'm not mistaken. But if you can just give me that breakdown for the year that's gone by, that would give us all a sense of how the company is doing.
Yeah, so last year we did 521 crores revenue, in which 33% was batter, around 23% was paratha. And then we had paneer, curd, and chapati and other products. Coffee. That was the distribution. That was the mix. In terms of the channel mix, we were 1/3 of our revenue was coming from e-com last year.
Okay.
Around 1/4 was coming from modern trade, and balance from general trade, and some very minimal revenue from the B2B channel. Coming to the cities, Bangalore, of course, was the number one and is still the number one territory for us. followed by Mumbai, Hyderabad, Pune, Chennai, and Delhi in India.
Wow.
And of course, overseas market, we are there in 7 markets today, which in UAE, and we are there in Oman and Saudi. We are soon starting operation in Qatar, Bahrain, and Kuwait.
Okay. So, Musthafa, just to understand, if you look at your total revenues, what is this percentage that is coming from overseas at the moment? Is that very significant for you?
Yeah, 1/3 of the revenue is coming from overseas now.
1/3. Okay. So obviously, Middle East has become a very key market for you.
Yes.
Okay, so coming to my next question, you've just got, about 507 crores, with your Series D fundraising round with your New Quest Capital partners, along with, of course, your existing investor, Premji Invest. There's so much about talks about you re-entering the US market, right? I want to know, A, how are you going to use this particular fund that has come in? Is it being used to plow into newer markets that you're looking at? And B, your re-entry into the US market, what are you doing differently this time?
So we had started ID batter, parathas, and coffee in their market. I don't think we got it right at the first time. Of course, we made a lot of mistakes. And this time we are planning to re-enter, but this time we are looking at through some kind of an M&A opportunity. So we are in talks with 2-3 parties, and hopefully we should be able to close one soon in the next few months, and then re-enter the market. In terms of the fund utilization, the 500 crores that we raised in 2021 was mainly used for secondary for Helion exit. So our first investor, Helion, had almost a 10x exit in 2021. And that money came from the last round of funding from New Quest. And balance money, the small primary that we did, we have kept aside that money mostly for our international expansion plans.
I see. So interesting what are some of the mistakes that you can possibly recollect and talk about in terms of what you're doing differently to ensure those mistakes are not repeated, especially in unknown markets like the US? And I also believe that you're going to partner with somebody who's already well known with the whole ready-to-eat segment in the US. Does that mean that the portfolio in the US will be a combination of Western and Indian offering?
No. So in terms of the product portfolio, we are looking at only the current set of products. We don't have any immediate plans to get into the Western products. But in terms of the mistakes that we did, I can actually write a book about it. There are a lot of mistakes. And I think we got probably the packaging wrong last time. And because we were doing that for the first time. And then second thing was, from a distribution perspective, since we were depending on a third party for distribution, that also I think we got it wrong. And of course, third one was, I think, the pricing wise, we were a super premium compared to the personal market. That was also a mistake. We are trying to correct those 3 mistakes and re-enter this time.
But according to your judgment, the Indian diaspora is significant enough, in the US, and I believe that you're trying to start a plant in New Jersey, for your ready-to-cook range. Is that a big enough market for you? How much have you estimated the US market in terms of once you get in, and how much you want to corner that is achievable?
So as per our estimate, there's a $100 billion business opportunity, revenue business opportunity from that market, maybe the next 5 to 8 years is what I would estimate to start with. And thereby probably one of the largest food brand in US from India. In fact, we have achieved that kind of a number in UAE already, right? We are probably the largest food brand in that market from India.
Okay. And what about markets like Indonesia and Malaysia, Musthafa?
No immediate plans, but in Singapore, yes. We are starting probably, our next phase would be Singapore once we crack US operation.
Okay. If I have to ask you about your new venture with Big Basket, I believe you're joining hands with Fresco, which is Big Basket's in-house private label, and you're collaborating to bring out an ID Fresco kind of thing. What is that collaboration about? Why are you diluting your brand with another, and what is the big picture here?
No, I think it's not brand dilution. We are jointly trying to create a fresh food category. And as you know, Idea is the right set of products, and Big Basket, in this case, has the right set of customers and their last mile distribution network. And we decided to partner and create a joint brand called ID Fresho, and thereby take the product to the market. It's been almost 2 years now, and we are seeing very good response from the market about this particular offering.
Right, right. It's also interesting with your number of launches, because you're launching products at a very fast pace. We saw your paneer, we saw curd, we've seen something called a frozen fruit blend recently. We saw you come up with the vada batter. My question is, I know in the South there was enough demand, excitement and penetration. In the North, we were assuming that with products like curd and ghee and all of that you would try and penetrate those markets which are harder to penetrate because of their food habits. Has that made a big difference? Are you seeing paneer, curd and products like that which are more akin to the North giving you much more traction?
Actually, the other way around.
Oh.
We are getting better traction for our batter in North than the other products. It was my surprise as well. It was a surprise to me as well. In fact, if you look at Delhi market, we didn't have a plant. We started the plant only like 8 months ago or 9 months ago. And this month, we already have crossed 2 CR revenue in Delhi alone, right? So we didn't have that kind of revenue growth or revenue. We don't have that kind of a great launch in any market that we launched. So Delhi has always surprised me in terms of the potential.
So essentially your learning is that Delhi is quite fond of South Indian food.
Yeah. It took me almost 8 years to sell 5,000 to 6,000 kg of batter in Bangalore. Okay. In Delhi, it took me 8 months.
Wow. And you're saying and what is the traction for paneer and dahi, and now you even have ghee. Ghee again is a very crowded market. Everybody is selling different types of ghees, talking about different benefits. So it's also a very confusing market. How is that doing?
So paneer and curd for us in Delhi market is very small now, but we have a very unique product proposition that we offer, which is made with 11 concentrate, not with citric acid or synthetic acid. And that's the reason that the product is slowly catching up. But paneer for Delhi is a tough market. We know that. Batter was easy for me. Paneer will be tougher. Now, coming to the ghee market, as you mentioned, it is the toughest, in the category.
Okay.
And we have a very unique product proposition, which the ghee is made with, fresh cream, not with, what you call a frozen butter. And with that position, the product is different, and it also comes at a premium. But then it's a tough market. Very, very tough.
But are you seeing better traction for products like paneer and curd in South?
Yes. So paneer in the South for us is already almost 100 crore revenue now.
Oh, wow.
Right. And the batter in Delhi is doing well for us. So I think we all expect the other way around, but the numbers are showing different things for me.
What is the logic between this frozen fruit blend that you've got?
Okay, that's a new product that we have tested or testing in UAE market now. Initial traction is very good. So what we do is we source the fresh fruits, clean label fresh fruits, and then crush it immediately, freeze it immediately, and then package it, store it in a freezer. So you get to, it's very similar to ice cream, but all natural, no chemicals, no preservatives, nothing artificial in it. So it's 100% fruit blend. Now the benefit of this one is you can have your mango shake throughout the season. Right? You get the product quality consistency. It's very easy to use at home. You can use
shelf
it to
life?
make
Shelf life?
You get 1 year shelf life for this in a frozen condition.
Without any preservatives?
100% natural.
There's been a lot of talk. I know, Musthafa, you're well aware of it because of the fact that we live in the days of social media. There's been a lot of flack that you've got on your claims of being, preservative-free and different competition attacking you from all sides. How are you responding to this, and how are you ensuring that in the consumer's head, ID fresh food means preservative-free? How are you ensuring that positioning of yours remains with all the noise and clutter that you have to face on a regular basis?
So 2 points. One, it's extremely important to be transparent. All right. Recently, we took our factory live. We were probably one of the only factory who had courage to live stream the factory for a day. Right. In fact, last year we did live stream it for a week. Right. So consumers can get to see what we are adding into the product. That's one aspect. Second, we open our factory for factory visits every day. Right, for school kids and college students and anyone who wanted to visit the factory. Our factory is open. Third and most important thing, what we try to build in ID is fighting a war against chemicals and preservatives. It is very easy for us to make money by adding chemicals and preservatives in the food, but that's an easy journey. But the road less traveled is the journey that we took, which is keep the product fresh and sell it fresh. That was very difficult. And that's the path we've traveled in the last 15 years.
Your CFO has given an estimate of hitting 700 crores next fiscal. How are you looking to achieve that? What is your strategy in terms of increased penetration, increased consumer usage? I don't know, new categories. What's your strategy there?
So the growth strategy comes from, one would be the penetrating existing markets. Let me take a Bangalore market, for example. We were covering around 5,000 outlets in Bangalore. The strategy is to take it to 12,000 outlets by end of this year from a distribution penetration perspective. Second will be the category conversion. We are driving a lot of sampling exercise for a homemade batter to ready-made batter conversion or a paratha sampling. We are investing heavily on sampling. That's the second part we are doing for a category conversion. Third, expanding newer markets like Delhi we just started, and we are soon starting operations in a place like Lucknow, Agra, and all of them. So that's a third, and the international expansion as well. As I mentioned, US operation will start contributing some revenue this year itself. In this month, in fact, we start in Qatar, Kuwait, and Bahrain. And the last one would be new products. So the new products that we launched versus some new products that we plan to launch.
Give me a sense of that. Give me a sense of your new products that you're looking to launch.
So we just started a bread in the market, a clean label bread, right? That is a select set of stores in Bangalore. We're testing the product. We're getting the product right. And the clean label bread, the reason I want to tell you this is, we all of us have been eating bread for the last 70 years. In Indians were eating bread for 70 years, right? Now, the issue is, most of the bread, in fact, I think I would say all of the bread would have some sort of chemicals and preservatives which is available in the market. And that's a journey we thought we should change. And, we started working on developing a product, bread without chemicals and preservatives, without anything artificial in it, all natural ingredients. Took us almost like 5 years to crack it. We recently launched it. We are seeing good traction on e-com platforms and some of the select stores in Bangalore. We will be investing heavily to make it, available across markets and across stores and across channels. That's one. Second, we are also, as I mentioned earlier, we have just launched freshly frozen fruit blend in UAE market. Seeing the initial traction, we plan to launch that in India market very soon. Maybe by end of August or early September, we'll be launching that. And we're also launching some of the frozen parathas in this market. Coming soon. And some of the new product innovation that we're looking at are products like, ready-to-cook chapati, fulka. Those are the kind of products that we're now working on.
Okay. What about the coffee plan? I'm asking you as a very interested consumer and a coffee drinker. What's happening with your coffee experimentation and innovation, especially your filter coffee?
Yeah, filter coffee decoction is doing well. In fact, we were able to create a mark and become a large player in that category. But as you know, the coffee category is quite large, and our share in the decoction market is very small. So we are trying to come up with some innovation for coffee decoction as well. In fact, in the next few days, we will be launching, mostly this week itself, we will be launching a coffee decoction with an innovative packaging on it, which is, you can squeeze the coffee decoction pack, measure the decoction content, pour it directly into the coffee. And the same packaging can be used to make any kind of coffee, whether it is, light, medium, strong coffee, what you want to have, right? You have an opportunity to measure to the level and then make coffee out of it. And that's a new innovation that we're launching very soon in the market.
Okay, let me come to some of the products you've talked about, especially your bread, right? If I'm not mistaken, you've got regular bread and you've got wheat bread, and you've priced it somewhere between 50 and 55 rupees. 50 rupees,
almost
right?
a 5 to 10 rupees premium to the market.
Now, tell me, Musthafa, if the market is the bread that we're used to eating, which is maida bread or wheat bread or whatever the innovations in the bread market has been so far, at that price that we're used to with preservatives, how is it that with a 10-15 rupee markup, you're able to give us preservative-free bread and also be confident that you won't have any wastage, because bread also has a shelf life and yours is preservative free. So what are the challenges you're facing in your portfolio of products where you're allowing for a certain premium, but how are you managing to keep your costs and profitability in balance?
So one of the benefits that we already have a distribution system in place, distribution platform in place, right? We cover almost 30,000 outlets every day. So my S&D cost, incremental S&D cost is almost zero for me to distribute a new product. So thereby, I am able to manage the overall thing. But if you look at from product costing perspective, I know it's a very, very expensive compared to the regular bread, right? The regular bread with those ingredients is X rupees, their RMPM cost or raw material and packaging material cost. Mine would be as easily as 1.5.
Yeah.
But then with the right distribution system already in place, I'm able to contain and offer at a 10-15% premium to the market.
But I'm assuming that obviously your margins will be much lesser than the other manufacturers of bread today.
It is today, but I think we will figure out a way. Once the consumers try the product and feel the difference, I hope they will be willing to pay a premium for that.
Okay. So from batter, of course, you've become a plethora of different product offerings, Musthafa. I'm sure you didn't envisage ID Foods to become such a big house of products. What is your vision? Clearly, it is it's much bigger. It's fine-tuned. It's crisper. Your vision than when you started. So what are you looking at? You've managed many product launches in India. You've gone to the Middle East. You're attempting US, UK. What is the big vision for you?
We are in a journey, or we are in a war fighting against chemicals and preservatives in the food. And that's the journey we're traveling. In terms of vision, ID could be one of the most trusted fresh food brand from India for the world.
And if I asked you, Musthafa, in terms of just becoming this big, ready to cook conglomerate, there's also been talks about the fact openly about you looking to go through the IPO route. Where are you on that? What is your vision to get in to become a listed company, and how fast will we see that happen?
We will look at IPO 3 years from now.
Okay, so then tell me, what is it right now in terms of hurdles that ID Foods is facing at the moment that you are focusing on and trying to overcome?
I would say anything in a packaged form is considered as unhealthy by Indians.
Right.
That is a challenge. If you look at ID, we are selling world's best food, idlis, but that is considered as a packaged food, which is all the negative connotations for a packaged food. That's one aspect. Second would be since our products are fresh, you need to have a local manufacturing facility. And since the products are 100% free from any chemicals, preservatives, and artificial flavors, you need to maintain the right storage condition throughout. So these are the challenges that we go through every day.
What is keeping Musthafa awake at night? What is currently your biggest pain point, Musthafa?
I don't know. I don't think I have any pain point now because we have gone through that in the last 12, 13 years. It was a tough journey, but we reached here. Now, if you ask me, one of the serious issues that we are trying to address is for consumer to believe that ID is natural.
True.
That it is free from chemicals and preservatives. It is free from any artificial flavors. Is tough.
Yes, I think that would be the toughest because consumers are so used to thinking of corporations as cheats that the fact that they're actually getting something preservative-free is tough for them to accept. You're right. That's probably your biggest challenge. But on that note, I wish you all the very best, not just for the India market, but your grand strides in the US. Hopefully this time the launch is with a bang and the Indian diaspora enjoys all the yummy idlis and dosas as we've been enjoying thanks to ID. Thank you so much.
And parathas and coffee. Thank you.